Hi everybody, you're watching JCat Land and Cattle. My name's John Charles. And today we're out on my family's ranch and I'm going to show y'all the ins and outs of the operation and what our plans are for the future. This ranch was bought in the 1990s primarily for hunting purposes, and over the years we've had some livestock. We've had buffalo to longhorns to a small black Angus cow-calf operation, and now we've decided we're going to turn this place into a more productive, efficient cow-calf operation with still having the main focus being hunting. But we're going to try our best to do both. So follow along today while I show you the projects that are going on and the future projects that we want to do here on the ranch. The first stop on the ranch is these cows and bulls we have in the background. These bulls are our main breeding stock for the ranch. They're also our cleanup bulls. We have a couple just Angus bulls, about 5 of them. We also have about 3 Akaushi bulls and 1 Wagyu bull. Usually they stay in this pasture until it's time to breed, but at the moment we have a few cows that are in here too, and that's due to mainly our fences are down. The rains we've had this spring, it's made it difficult to keep them in some pastures due to 1, the rain, and 2, they're just not very good fences to start with, so they're easy to get through. These cows, while they're here and not in the big herd, these are our AI or embryo transfer cows. So that means we send them off, or we do it here on the ranch, but typically we send them off to AI them, which is artificially inseminate them, and that allows us to pick some of the best genetics for the cows that will help our herd in the long term. Also, doing the embryo transfers allows us to use Akaushi cows bred to Akaushi bulls, but be put and good recip cows. So some of these are recip, some of them are embryo transfers, and some of them are AI. So we like to keep a close eye on them throughout the gestation cycle and pretty much throughout their entire life here. That way we can monitor them and make sure everything goes right, and it makes it easier for record keeping. This pasture used to be an 80-acre Bermuda pasture, but throughout the years we haven't needed the Bermuda, mainly due to the hunting side. We've been focusing on the hunting and everything, and the cows kind of been put on the back burner. So this year we fertilized it, and we're going to come back and spray, and hopefully that'll bring some of the Bermuda back that's still here. It's kind of spotty and stuff, but if that doesn't work, our goal is to eventually come in here and sprig it or put Bermuda seed, depending on cost and everything. So those are the projects we have going on in this pasture and with these cows and bulls behind. So there'll be future videos that talk more about the AI and embryo and what all goes into that, because it's a pretty fascinating side of the ranch. Okay, we made it down to what we call the bottom on the ranch. This is 68 acres of tillable ground. Usually we plant wheat in the fall. It gives food for the deer through the winter, and then we don't do anything in the spring with it or summer. And then fall rolls back around and we plant wheat again. This year, well actually last year for the first time, we planted Sudan grass in the summer. And we've really liked the outcome of that, and definitely on the standpoint of trying to make this 68 acres as productive as possible for the cow herd. So to do that, we've started harvesting the wheat for hay production, and now we've also done the Sudan last summer. But we only did Sudan in 12 acres of the 68. And this year we're going to really crack down on the Sudan side because we produced a lot of hay by doing that. And we're going to do roughly 45 acres of the bottom. The reason we're not doing the other roughly 22 acres or so is because that's in alfalfa. alfalfa you plant once and it lives for 4 to 5 years depending on the stand and everything and the climate. So, and you can get a couple of cuttings off that way. This is also the first year that we have the alfalfa. We tried to establish it last year, but with the drought and everything and probably some human error, we didn't get a good stand. So we replanted it last fall, and I think we're gonna have a good stand this year if we can control the weed pressure. This is also, for the hunting side of the ranch, behind me is, past the tractor into those willows, is marsh ground. Just the layout of the bottom and what goes on down here. Okay, we have now made it to the east side of the ranch. We're at no tailgating right now, but the east side is roughly 2,000 acres and it's broken down into 6 pastures. But I'm just going to talk about the east side as a whole due to not having the fences to decipher really between the 6 pastures for a cow standpoint. This is also where we did a controlled burn earlier in the spring. We are doing this, 1, for the deer habitat, and 2, to just keep it, try to maintain it and not let the woods overtake too many of the little fields that go throughout this 2,000 acres. Although most of it is woods, which in our woods we have a lot of thick briar patches and all the other small shrubs. These aren't real mature woods, so that makes it pretty hard for us to walk through as well as the deer. So if we can thin that out through fire, it helps with the deer population as well as preparing it for us to fix the fences or put in new fences, and therefore it helps with the cattle in the future. Things going on the west or the east side of the ranch is the controlled burns and slowly fixing fences, which lower on our list of things to do. So that's the east side of the ranch. Now I'm going to take you all the way over to the west side and show you the main cow-calf herd as well as a couple corrals. We are now at the original corrals on the ranch. These have been here since the 90s, and well before then, as you can tell, they've seen better days. We are planning on knocking down the corrals that are here and building new corrals that have a better flow for the cattle, as well as having a feedlot side that we can finish out cattle for the sides of beef we want to sell in the future. These corrals are really just 3 catch pens with a squeeze chute in the shop behind me. We really want this to be able to hold cattle as well as having more sorting pens in the future. So there'll be more on this, on how we want to design it and what we want to do. It's a slow process at the moment. Right now we're just getting it where we can work cattle safely, but long term it all needs to go, and we'll. Now I'll drive over and show you a few more pastures and some new corrals we built on the west side. We have now made it to what we call the big pasture. This pasture used to be a very productive Bermuda field, and then we transitioned it to cotton and then to wheat, and now we are transitioning it back into hopefully a very productive Bermuda field. This Bermuda field will be mainly used to graze cattle on, but we might do some hay production off of it depending on the weather and the climate. If you watched last week's video, you would have seen us disc this up and then cultipack it and then come back behind it with our brilliant seeder and planted the Bermuda. This year we've timed the rains just right, I believe, and I think we'll get a good established stand of Bermuda if everything continues to go how it is. Right now, The seeds are just now coming out of the ground, so it's real early to tell, but I feel like this year we've had the best shot on getting it established compared to any other year. Once we get this 40 acres or so established and going, we're going to move and continue to do this for the whole 300-acre pasture. It's just we don't have the equipment to really cover that much ground, and that gets very expensive very quickly. So now we'll move over to the west pasture of the ranch, tell you a little bit about that, and then end it up with the corrals that are also over there. Now made it to the corrals on the west side of the ranch. These are the most recent corrals we built. We built these in 2020, and we're real happy with them. They're all made out of pipe, and they got a big catch pen and good sorting pens. You can see an earlier video of us working calves out of here and see how the ins and outs of it work. These are kind of the corrals that you see behind me are the stage one of the big corral. We'll eventually have more sorting pens and more places to feed out cattle. Like I mentioned whenever we were at the other corrals, of having a feed lot for our sides of beef that we want to sell in the future. But I hope you enjoyed today's video of kind of showing you the ins and outs and just the layout of my family ranch. As you can tell, we got a lot of projects coming up and a lot of projects going on. So if any of that interests you, hit the like and subscribe button and stay tuned to see us accomplish some of those projects here in the near future. Also, we are going to show y'all next week the equipment that we have and that we're going to use to help accomplish some of these tasks. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and thanks again for watching, and remember to always eat beef.